Hello everyone, this is Professor Vishal Gupta with BUAD 425 Data Analysis for Decision Making at the USC Marshall School of Business. This video is an addendum to the Excel Bootcamp, and I'm going to show you some quick things on conditional formatting. Let's get started. So here I have the Excel Bootcamp spreadsheet, and you can see that I've taken some data from the USDA website here on various types of food and the energy and nutritional content in that food. So I took a small subset of the available data, most of which seems to be cheese, milk, and other dairy products. But the full data set is available on the site. Now, looking at a big data set like this, it's pretty difficult to understand what's going on with each of these different kinds of food or which ones are large in different types of nutrients. And you might have a question like, well, what types of food are good sources of manganese? So one way to do this at a quick glance is to use conditional formatting. There are lots of ways to do conditional formatting. I'm going to show you the kind of simplest, classic way to do this that we'll end up doing in some of our future labs. But I do encourage you to look at some of the other options available. So, first of all, I have no idea how much manganese is in a typical food. And we can see the typical values of manganese seem to be pretty small. Maybe 0.03, 0.001, something like that. Okay, so maybe I'm interested then in, let's say, values of manganese that are bigger than or equal to 0.001. How am I going to do my conditional formatting? Well, my recommendation is first start by formatting a single cell. So let's format this cell butter with salt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Format menu, to Conditional Formatting, and on Windows machines this is under the Format ribbon. You select Conditional Formatting. The window that pops up is here. It looks a little bit different on Windows machines, but the important thing here is that you're selecting something for the current selection and you're going to add a rule. Now again, the window that shows up is a little bit different on Windows machines. It's not too important, but the important thing here is that the kind of conditional formatting I'm going to use for this exercise is I'm going to use the classic sense. There are lots of different other types of conditional formatting that I encourage you to look at. Again, on the Windows side, you'll see them, but looking for the classic rule. Here in the classic rule, there are again lots and lots of options. I want you to explore this for yourself. What I want to do is I want to set up a format based on using a formula to decide which cells to format. Alright, so what formula am I going to use? Well, I'm going to say that equals, if the amount of manganese in the food, butter with salt in this case, is, so let's see where that is, that's manganese, R8, is greater than my threshold value, right? So I said I wanted to know about sources of food that have more than 0.001 in them. Then I want to actually format it. And how do I want to format it? Well, Excel suggests I should format it as red, like this, but I think manganese is a good thing, so why don't I say it's green with dark green text. So that's a nice format. Now I want to pay a little bit of attention to where I put the dollar signs in these cells. I'm thinking about my reference cell here of how much manganese is a lot of manganese, 0.001. I don't want this changing ever, but as I extend my formats down the page, I'm going to want to look at different foods than butter with salt. So I'm going to want this column R to always stay fixed, but I'm not going to want this 8 to stay fixed. I'll want to look at each row. Okay, so if I go ahead and do that, I'll see that I get this formula all set up. I hit OK, and nothing's happened. Why did nothing happen? Well, because for butter with salt, the amount of manganese was 0. So it's not bigger than this 0.001. If I had made this 0.001 though, let's say -1, you can see that butter with salt now changes colors. Alright, let's see if we can push this a little bit further. So now if I copy here what's going on with butter with salt, and then I select my whole data table, and I go to paste, special, and I'm going to paste the format so that that conditional formatting that I had set up gets sent over everything. And now I can see every food that has actually manganese more than 0.001 is being colored in green, whereas foods that do not are being colored with white. This gives me a quick, dirty way to see which foods are high in manganese. If I decide later that, hey, wait a minute, 0.001 is too low a threshold, maybe I should be thinking about 0.05, I can go ahead and repeat this, and you'll see lots of the foods drop out, and then only small numbers of foods are actually good manganese, like Parmesan cheese, or whatever this dessert topping powder happens to be. All right, so that's the basics of conditional formatting. Again, we can format lots of different things. You can try to have Excel automatically format numbers that are large, automatically format numbers that are small. The key idea here is that as you change things, like this cell, the corresponding cells that meet the criteria for the conditional formatting will be formatted, and if you change numbers in those cells, for example here I change this manganese manually to 0.1, it'll change the formatting accordingly. That's all. Thank you, and I'll see you in another video.